Right, so something a little bit different from me. Something I've been considering to do is to do like a gaming diary, kind of like a what I've been playing kind of thing. Just so I can kind of keep track of what I actually have been playing throughout the year and all that kind of stuff. So, I want to just quickly go over the stuff I played through in March of 2025. Largely it's been Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a new Monster Hunter game, but feels fresh with the way the game is set up. Yeah, the graphics are a bit muddy sometimes, and I can understand some people complaining about the heavy demand the game requires from their hardware. It seems to come from a few factors though. If Dragon's Dogma 2 is any indication, it could be that the RE engine just isn't easy to optimize for open worlds. Another thing seems to be that this game is doing a lot of simulation in the background. Between the monsters interacting with the world, each other, the higher density of indigenous life, the physics simulations, the weather simulations. As much as worlds still look striking to this day, it's much more static and a bit smaller in scope. People also seem to quickly forget that there were lots of issues with the PC version, specifically with Worlds when that first came out. Regardless, I found the game very engaging, and the new monsters they've added have been great additions. They've made really good use of the tentacle tech, apparently. I still haven't got round to the new patch with Mizusuno, but probably updating this diary next month with my impressions of that, I suppose. Towards the end of the month, we saw the release of the Final Fantasy XIV patch content, which I've obviously devoured pretty quickly. This patch in particular was a real treat for Final Fantasy IX fans, with a vast majority of its references being very direct from that game. Between the music themes and visuals and enemies in a dungeon and trial, and somewhat also with its themes of the villains trying to break away from the inevitability of death. I like the story of this patch, to be honest. They've introduced an interesting villain whose first interaction with us was to try and nuke us with all the energy they had at hand, which leads to them trying to study us further, when that obviously doesn't work. It has potential, I'll leave it at that. The raids and trial are great, as has been the case with Dawn Trail so far. The account design team continue to cook. I look forward to tackling Savage in earnest. I'm also going into this tier of raids as a healer for the first time ever, so wish me and the team luck, I guess. I have done a little bit of the Savage so far. It's been interesting, let's put it that way. Still played a bit of Zenless Zone Zero a bit, managed to get the S-rank Ambi character and spent most of the time getting her leveled up and building up her gear. Pretty fun, a simple playstyle, which has decently high damage ceiling from what I've managed to do. The story content was also pretty good with the latest major patch, especially the side stories involving Ambi, Soldier 11 and Trigger. I probably have no hope of getting Trigger 2 because gacha and haven't had the chance to pull resources like I did for Ambi. Oh well, I'll continue plugging away now and then with this game, although I'm playing it nowhere near as much since getting the Platinum Trophy last year. Something just hasn't drawn me back into the game as much for whatever reason. I think I've just completely burnt myself out of it from, as I say, getting the Platinum Trophy last year. Late February through to March, I've dabbled with playing some Final Fantasy IX on the PS1 for a while. Partly because I was talking to someone who mentioned the long battle transition times, which I always remember being a flaw of that original version. So, as you do, I booted it up to remind myself and ended up playing through at least a quarter of the Disc 1 content. Still a great game, it turns out. Could even argue it was one of the best in the series. Wink wink, nudge nudge towards that series I did over COVID. But I digress. It was nice to play some of this right before the new Final Fantasy XIV patch, so some of those references were fresh. I've managed to get some of my friends involved with Raven's Watch. We were looking for a new game after we completely rinsed Space Marine 2 of all its content a month or so ago. I gave the suggestion because I know it's a great co-op roguelike, which means we could get a lot of value out of it. Thankfully, it's been a hit so far. I love the graphic style and the character design is great. No two characters really play alike, and with a good variety of abilities and upgrade found on runs that can drastically change the playstyle of that one character. My only real big problem with the game, maybe not a problem, more of a nitpick I guess, is that you always fight the same 3 bosses in a run. Yeah, there are some mechanical variations, such as one of the bosses using AoEs or a laser, but otherwise they're the most static part of a single run of the game. There's no variation between each of the different tiers as well, so like you always go from the forest to the Arabian place to Arthur-themed place. I just wish there was a little bit more variety there, basically. Hopefully they add more biomes or something in the future, but we'll see. Also, the side quests are pretty much the same each time, which means that they're also the most predictable parts of the run, which I suppose for a roguelike you do need some things that are predictable, but I don't know, because we're always doing them, maybe I've just noticed because we're always doing it, I'm not sure. Maybe some of this changes in the later difficulties too, I'm not sure. We can still do the first tier very easily. The second tier is we're struggling a little bit towards the end game. I think we need to focus on our builds a bit more maybe, and just get better at the game in general. I'm looking forward to new characters that come out soon though. The Romeo and Juliet, they look very interesting. I think they've delayed them because originally when they were revealed, they were supposed to be, you can only play the two together, but I think that they're making it so you can play them individually as well now, so they're retooling their kits, but that should be interesting. That should be interesting. And finally, I've been playing the thing I was looking forward to the most for this month, which was Xenoblade Chronicles X. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I'm a big fan of the Wii U game. This is pretty much the last big release that wasn't ported over to the Switch as well. And it was worth the wait, to be honest. Monolith Soft never seemed to miss. And this follows a similar goal as the Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition went for, which is mostly updating the character models in order to fit them more neatly into the rest of the series. So now, if you play them 1 through to 3, they've got a very similar art style now, especially with the character designs. Beyond the character models, it's still an improved version of the game, though, between the quality of life updates, which are definitely appreciated, like not having to go back to the town to swap out characters and stuff. I don't think the frame rate's improved too much, but it feels smoother overall. It's kind of shocking how good it looks in handheld mode too. It's like, it looks very sharp still. When I compare it to, say, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which looked very rough sometimes in handheld mode. Very, very grainy. I think there's a Digital Foundry video which gets into the nitty-gritty in terms of all that stuff, if you want to have a look. Still need to put more time into it, but otherwise, yeah, 2 thumbs up, very much worth the wait. And a very nice swan song for the Switch. And that's pretty much it for the month, really. I wanted to make a short video like this just to get something out there, because it's been a while. I think the last upload before this was my Games of the Year in 2023, so it's been over a year. So a little project like this would mean that I can get more videos out more often. I'm also making use of a new video editing software as well. I'm going to be using DaVinci, what's it called again? DaVinci Resolve, which I haven't made use of before. Before I was using an old cracked version of Sony Vegas Pro 12 or something. Very old. So, hopefully I'll keep this as a regular thing, and I'll see you next time.